Knights and Knighties. Welcome to Midnight Expressions, Episode 10. This week's video is the official musical release from the Mandman, titled The Ferryman, the acoustic version. This is definitely different from any of my other releases. Its format is more of a musical, an opera, inspired by an unpublished book that I wrote while having a mental breakdown of the same title. Fair warning, some of the images and language in this video people may find disturbing and or offensive. This week's project is my song called Whole, which will be the third release from Somber Moon. More on that later. This week's review is The Divina Commedia by Dante Alighieri. Book only. The Divina Divina Commedia, is an Italian narrative poem by Dante Alighieri, begun in 1308 and completed around 1321, shortly before the author's death. It is widely considered the pre-eminent work in Italian literature and one of the greatest works of Western literature. The poem's imaginative vision of the afterlife in its representative of the medieval worldview as it exists in the Western Church by the 14th century. It helped establish the Tuscan language in which it is written, and it standardized the Italian language. It is divided into three parts: Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso. See Wikipedia for further details. Before we get into this prolific novel, I would first like to mention that I am dyslexic. This means that reading is sometimes daunting for me. Instead of struggling with reading, then I listen to them in forms of audiobooks. A quick shout out to all those voice narrators, publishers, engineers, and platforms available. Because of their efforts, I can enjoy many works that I would normally not be able to indulge in. My deepest appreciation to all involved. The Divina Commedia holds a very special place in my collection for a variety of reasons. Firstly, Dante mapped out the many layers of the afterlife. He populated hell with popes, politicians, and businessmen, all of which are suffering for the sins they committed in life. I often wonder which layers of hell many of our so-called leaders, whether they be political, business, banks, or religious, would find themselves in. What kind of suffering would be appropriate? Does it make a difference to all those who suffer at the actions of these leaders and their companions, associates, cohorts, and employees of private armies? Secondly, because I can personally relate to his life experiences, from being banished from his home and forced to wander the world, surviving on his wits, only to return to his homeland after his death. Thirdly, Dante went mad. He recorded and cataloged his experience and published it for the world. He did not pull the punches. He, in his madness, kept his sanity. In a way, he was self-aware enough to see the depths and depravity that damn us all, both living and dead. Finally, like Dante, I went mad. Total mental breakdown. Like Dante, I just started to write. Why, you may ask? Because. That is the simplest answer. Because I wanted proof. Because I wanted a record of the experience. Because I wanted to know. Most of all, because I wanted to hang on to the true me. Not my sanity, soul, mind, or spirit, or body. Just me as a whole. So, abandon all hope, ye who shall enter, as I encourage others to walk with Dante in the Divina Commedia. Why is it a comedy? Well, because it's all a joke. It's just one person's perspective on the damnation of humanity. I know this, and I'm sure Dante knew this. When in heaven, Dante himself admitted that he can only see from his perspective. I feel that is true for all of his journeys, as he travels through hell, purgatory, and heaven. His views are his own and are not definitively factual. So when listening to him, keep this in mind. It is in his perspective that he views his experiences. I am not saying that there is or is not a hell, a heaven, or a purgatory. I am saying that if or when you experience it, it will be from your own point of view. I compliment Dante on his works. Truly a poet of his time. He is very articulate and wrote in the fashion of the highest Italian education of that time period. Regardless, wow, what an epic poem. A fun fact, when I wrote The Madman, I had yet to read the Divine Comedy. I only knew of Dante's works in a very vague passing. It was not until years later that I realized that Dante and I shared similar experiences. I am not saying that the story that I wrote is as eloquent as the Divine Comedy. Truthfully, my original script sucks and needs a lot of work and refinement before I am willing to publish it. However, the seed has been planted. It has taken its root. It has grown and bloomed. It has a soundtrack. Both works have similar muses. Dante loved a woman named Beatrice. He met Beatrice during his childhood in court and only a few times later on. After that, she became an angel of his inspiration and the last guide through heaven. It is more fair to say that he fell in love with the idea of Beatrice. In The Madman, the main character, Cross Ibera, travels to the depths of hell and beyond to find a woman, April. April is not based on any individual woman that I have ever met. In truth, she is the embodiment of femininity. Several female characters are the basis of this unfair platform of the perfect woman. She is the queen of the Fae. She is the great horned goddess. She is existence. And from existence, life is born. Dante had guides as he traveled. Virgil, a great poet who Dante admired. Saint Bernard of Clairvaux. Even Beatrice makes an appearance as she consoles his being after his long journey. Cross has Jack, his imaginary companion. It is actually a being from the depths of hell and madness that spent generations condemning the living, encouraging people to do the most atrocious acts, thus securing their mortal damnation. There is Kim, a woman who is a nightmarish creature herself. Finally, Cross's greatest antagonist is also his greatest ally, Hell, Oblivion, the Void. Dante finds divinity in all forms, having the majority of pre-Christian heroes, demigods, spirits, and some gods dwell in purgatory, along with all of those waiting in penance until God forgives them. From his belief, true divine can only be found in heaven. In The Madman, the foundations of heaven, hell, and purgatory is shattered. The very seat of heaven, the very idea of heaven, falls to the fate of all gods with the riddle of divinity, the truth that gods are only as powerful as those who believe in them. Is it true faith, or is it that God's followers are faithless, where belief is used as a form of control? As mentioned, The Madman was written years before I ever read the Divine Comedy. I still have not read it. I have listened to it in the form of audiobooks. I have re-listened to it several times and enjoyed the Divine Comedy. Both of their similarities and differences I find amusing and justified. Even if I am an amateur in comparison to Dante, I feel a kindredness to him and his experiences. Truly a fitting review to go along with this week's musical release of The Ferryman, the acoustic version. Step by step, as I walk through the valley of death, I fear no evil, because I am Sir David Evil Midknight. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment to become an official knight or knightie. Yours, Sir David Evil Midknight. Thank you for watching Midnight Expressions. Click to subscribe or become a full member to see full content. Click the link below to see more Midnight Expressions. Yours, Sir David Evil Midknight.